Hello again, it's good to have you back. So, over the years, I've had people tell me a lot of the time that I have a pretty nice smile. And for some reason, I feel like that statement is absolutely true. Yeah, but I've also had people tell me that I'm very cocky. And to be honest, I can understand why they would say that because I know the things that I know, and I also know the things that I do not know. So for the things that I know, I strongly stand by them, and the ones that I don't know, I willingly learn. And that's to say that in as much as I'm aware of the things that make up my weaknesses, I'm also very much aware of the things about myself that I absolutely love and the things that are true about myself. And I accept them for that. Following the release of the introduction to this podcast, Unfiltered with K, I've had a lot of positive feedback, lots of them. In fact, every feedback I've received was positive. And I know you think that that should make me happy, but for some reason I find myself questioning why I even started this in the first place. Literally, I question myself. Why am I even doing this? Why did I even begin? I don't know where to go from here. I have so many people who are already saying, "You're doing so well, this is good, we are looking forward to more." And I feel like, what exactly do I have for you? And that brings me to the first thing I want to speak about, which I mentioned in my introduction, my perfectionist personality. It has been a big part of me. And in fact, this very video that you're watching is evidence of my perfectionist personality, because I didn't start when I felt like I could have started. I wanted to wait and wait and wait until I was sure that it was going to be perfect. I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted the beginning to be perfect, everything. And I'm very much aware of that. It keeps me behind on a lot of things. And sometimes I find myself struggling between the positives and negatives of perfectionism, because the good thing is it helps me keep a certain standard of things, it helps me get things done a certain way, which is good. The bad thing is it makes me spend so much time wondering about what ifs and what nots. Being a perfectionist has been a huge thing with me. And even in my relationships, it has been evident, it's clear in my relationships. I find myself always wanting to be doing the most. My friends call me crazy sometimes, they know that. But being a perfectionist is tiring. That's the first thing I'd like to say. It's exhausting because I always have my own standards that I have to meet. And I expect people to think a certain way or act a certain way. And that is very difficult, to be honest. And it's funny, I already know that everybody's different, but I still sometimes can't bring myself to accept that, because I feel like this can be better, right? This can be better. And when people tend to settle for less or average, I find myself mad about it. And so in my relationships, that has been one of the biggest things about me. That probably is a deterring factor. Another thing about being a perfectionist is it works very closely with imposter syndrome. And I think all my life, the scariest imposter syndrome moments that I've had was earlier this year. I landed some very good contracts all in the same week. It all happened in 1 week, and I got very scared, to be honest. I was terrified. I felt like I wasn't good enough. Quino, you're not good enough to handle these projects. You're not going to be able to deliver, and you're going to be found out. You're going to have yourself wanting, you're not good enough to work on this. You're not good enough to be here. That's the scariest thing about being a perfectionist, because the moment the imposter syndrome bit sets in, it makes everything worse. It got so bad I had to call my old boy. He's one of the best people in my life. And I think one of these days, I'd actually make time to talk about him. My old boy, my dad, I mean. So yeah, I think that's the danger about being a perfectionist. One thing I've learned though is that being self-aware about your perfectionist attitude or personality is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Being self-aware every single time, it helps you manage it. Helps you manage your relationships with people, clients, businesses, and everything. It keeps you in a certain check of your own self. So as part of being a perfectionist, you can strive to be better at being a perfectionist so that it doesn't affect you negatively. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, in all, I think if I wasn't a perfectionist, I probably wouldn't have been where I am today, because I was always striving to be better at something, at what I do, and to be different, and to be perfect in a certain way, and having my own standards. I don't even know, a lot of the time, I don't know what perfection is, to be honest. Because no matter how far I go, I feel like you can go further, you can do better. So it is a big thing, and I've been working on it, on how to manage it, how to manage my expectations, my standards about people, and what I look forward to from people. So that's the first thing about my weaknesses. And I'm hoping that I can put a lot of this out there to help people who are trying to discover themselves and to get out of their shell. I hope that this podcast helps such people also find themselves as we walk this journey together. It's been good talking to you, and I'm looking forward to speaking more with you once again in the next episode. Have a good day. Bye.